Hey guys, welcome to MouseGen. We just got back from Food and Wine, and we just wanted to kind of give you a couple tips if you're planning on going, and let you know some of our thoughts.
Yeah. So first we're gonna go through some of our tips for doing Food and Wine. I've lived in Central Florida for most of my life, and I've been going to Food and Wine since I was 13, 14 years old. Every year, it's one of my favorite things to do. And obviously, as I have become an adult and can go, more often on my own, I feel like we've gotten some really good strategies for attacking Food and Wine. So first things first, our number one suggestion will always be to do your research. Now, this comes to almost anything Disney, but especially for Food and Wine. You can find, especially by the first day of the festival, you can find all of the food menus and all of the prices, and you'll start to get a lot of reviews of things online. There are so many food options, especially if you're only going for one day. It is impossible to eat all the food, and definitely impossible to drink all of the drinks. You would literally be dead. So do your research. Research prices, make a budget, know how much you should expect to spend, so you're not you don't get sticker shock when you get there. Most of the food items are between $3 and $7. There are some food things that are a little bit more.
Filet mignon in Canada.
Yeah, well, the filet mignon I believe is $7.50 this year. It didn't reach our threshold. Yeah. So, but again, if it's okay to throw out another website here, DisneyFoodblog.com. That is where I go to get all of my information. They're wonderful, and they post prices of the food first day of the festival, almost as soon as it opens. So that's what I used this year when we were budgeting. A question we get a lot when we talk about Food and Wine Festival is, do you have to pay extra to go to Food and Wine Festival? Well, the answer is no. Food and Wine Festival is happening all throughout Epcot. You pay your ticket into Epcot and you're at the Food and Wine Festival. What you pay extra for are the food and the drinks that you buy. So you do get some freebies. You can go over to the festival center. You can get a free sample of chocolate, Ghirardelli chocolate. You also get the Food and Festival Passport Guide. You can get as many of these as you want, and you get it every time you go, or you can take it with you. If you're a pass holder, this year they're doing free pass holder pins, and he just went to go grab, they're actually doing several different free pins, and he just went to go grab some more. Obviously the guide maps, and then they do several beverage and food seminars that are a low cost, like $10 I think is the lowest, where you do get to sample some food with those. But like we said, all the other food and stuff you're paying extra for.
Yep. So in addition to that button, around different booths, they have these little AP pins, not quite as cool, but what I thought was neat is they have a variety of colors. So if you go around, they'll have a little sign that says show your AP for a free button. And
they come in all different colors. So we just have
you can
two.
Get all the different colors of them.
We just have two to start, because I don't know if we knew about this when we started, and I didn't want to pull out my AP pass at every booth I went to. So we'll work on getting the rest of them throughout the month. So okay. So I would say that's tip number one. Do your research, make a budget, and know what's included.
Tip number two is, when should you be going to this? Obviously, it is every day, August 31st through November 13th. The booths will always be open, weather permitting, but we'll get to that.
Starting at 11
Yes,
a.m.
as soon as One World Showcase opens is when the festival opens. But when should you go? Kind of planning around crowd-wise. If you're able to, we would suggest going weekdays, or at least getting there early, right at opening, so you can try to hit as many booths before they get crowded.
Yeah, and when we say opening, we don't mean you have to be at Epcot when it opens. You'll want to be there at around 11, especially if you're going on a weekend. Another tip along with that is, watch your weather forecasts. And if it's a day where it might be a little bit rainy in the afternoon, I almost say maybe try to go on that day. A lot of times the rain will come down for a couple hours, especially at this time of the year.
Yep.
People will clear out and then your booths will be open. Now I will say, when we went this past Saturday, so the first Saturday of the festival.
It wasn't bad at all.
I was expecting I was expecting to wait in lines and stuff. I was happy to see that it was going to rain because I thought it would clear people out. Even without the rain, we didn't wait for anything.
No, I think we would wait maybe a minute or two, which compared to last year when we went first Saturday, we sat there for quite a while.
You would have 50 people in line in front of you, and that was not the case this year. Now, that may change. I was kind of speculating, because they started the festival so early this year, people may have planned their vacations later on, and so once people who plan their vacation around the same time every year for Food and Wine start showing up.
We did see a lot of people when we were live streaming being like, oh, we're going to be there, end of September.
I heard a lot of, I'll be there in 2 weeks, so maybe don't try
to basically mid to end of September.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Which is when, in the past, the festival really has started.
Yeah, because it's usually been right after my birthday.
Right, yes. It's never actually been on your birthday before. So, and his birthday is September 19th, 18th? It's 18th or 19th. It's one of those days. I just celebrate all month long, so I don't remember when it is.
Something like that.
All right. So, like we said, weekdays are early. But whenever you go, pack your patience. It's worth it. If you're able to go later in the months, October, November, you're gonna not have to deal with some as bad weather. It was really hot today, but if you're prepared, drink water.
Drink water. I feel like a lot of people forget, and then you get halfway around, you can't figure out why you're tired and kind of groggy.
Drink water, drink Gatorade.
Because you're drinking nothing but alcohol.
At the festival merchandise locations where you can buy the hats and the t-shirts and stuff, you'll notice most of them have huge coolers selling bottled water, and Powerade is what Disney sells, because you need to replace your electrolytes because you're sweating them all out and you're only drinking alcohol.
You'll have a much more pleasant time if you just drink some water.
Definitely.
In between.
Okay. So this kind of takes us to tip number 3, which I touched on already. Prepare for rain, power through the rain, but be prepared. The rain can be your friend. Like we said, this past Saturday when we went, it rained for about an hour and a half, not even that bad. We took shelter for maybe 30 minutes, and we probably didn't even really need to do that because I never heard thunder or lightning. So here's what you have to be ready for. If it's raining and it's not terrible, can't see anything rain, bring a raincoat, bring a baseball hat, bring an umbrella, power through it. As long as there's not lightning in the area, the stands will stay open. All of the stands will stay open. Other people will be wimps and clear out, and you won't have any lights.
Most likely.
And also, I love the rain on the Floridian because it cools things down. It is so wonderful to have a cool rain. If there is lightning in the area, the stands will have to close because they're not grounded, meaning if that stand stayed open and got hit by lightning, everything would be ruined in the stand. All of the electronics would go out. So they have to close. Won't be closed all night, won't be closed forever. Usually, have the weather app open. You'll see when that radar storm clears and you can go on your way. They do have things inside this year. You could head to the festival center, spend a lot of time in there. Yeah. They have food, they have drinks, so you're set.
Another new one is the Light Lab this year. They have a couple cool different options for you to try out. They
don't have a ton of food though. I think they have one food option, which is a donut. They do have some cool drinks. It is a cool place to sit. They have chairs, couches set up for you. And then, of course, there's the pavilions. You could always run over to the land or the seas and, ride some rides. Just hang out, cool off. So just be prepared. It's rainy season in Florida. We're preparing for a hurricane. Just be ready. Also, if you're staying on site, you could go to your hotel and come back, too.
That's true. So our next tip is the Food and Wine Tasting Sampler. So we have it right here. As you can see, we've used 3 of our redemptions. So what this is it's basically a special voucher you can buy. It comes with this nifty little pin here.
Super cute this year. Has Remy on it.
Yeah. And It costs after tax a little over $69, $69 and some change. But you get this lanyard and you get the little tabs, and there's basically 8 little tabs. And what it is those 8 tabs are redeemable for most items at Food and Wine. It doesn't include full beers, a couple champagnes.
Yeah, it says right on the back what you can't use it on, which is not very many things. You can't use it on beers larger than 6 ounces, any tasting flights. So, they have some flights of wine, flights of beers. You can't use it on that. You can't use it on the artist palette of wine and cheese, which is a specific dish at the Wine and Cheese.
True.
And you can't use it on the Dom Perignon champagne, which is like the $32 glass of champagne. Everything else you can use this on. When you do the math and divide 65 by 8, I decided to kind of consider our tax, the value of the pen. It comes out to be about $8 and I think 13 cents per voucher. Now, here's where we go back to step number 1, and you're planning. So, if you go through and look at the prices of all the options of the Food and Wine products, items, there are quite a few things that are over $8.15. Now,
mostly alcohol.
I think it's all alcohol except 2 things. And one of them is a meat option in Japan, and the other one, it's not the filet mignon, but it's another meat dish, and I cannot remember where it is.
Some sort of steak or something.
Yeah, it's something like that. So, here's our tip. If you don't drink alcohol, this is not for you.
Pass on.
Yes, if you do drink alcohol and you're either going to be there multiple days or you have enough people to use 8 things, there's 8 things you know you're going to want, this is a good deal. For example,
saves a couple bucks.
Yeah, for example, one of the things we got when we were there was the frozen margarita from the Italy Pavilion, which is normally $10. Well, I used one of our vouchers and I got a $10 item for about $8. So
a little bit of savings.
Yeah, plus we get the pen. We're pen collectors. We like to have it. And then you get this kind of cute card thing, which is a keepsake too.
Yeah. And it works well for us because, like we said, we can go, this will last us a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll get to try some of the more expensive drinks and not have to worry about spending as much each time because we've already gone ahead and paid for them.
Yeah, so definitely a good tip if it works for you, but don't be drawn in and use it on things that it's not worth it for. Next tip, number 5, is the Wristlet gift card. Now we don't have it up here because we leave it in our car, so we don't forget it every time. But they sell a special Food and Wine Wristlet gift card that you can load anywhere from, I think, like $5 to like $1,000 on this gift card. And you can use that to pay for your items, around World Showcase. It goes on your wrist. It has a little stretchy thing. You can hold your wrist out and they'll scan it. And that's how you can pay for your food. So you don't have to pull out cash or your credit cards. It's just a little bit easier. And it's a cool keepsake, which is basically like a free keepsake. If you're going to spend $20 anyway and you load $20 on it, there you go.
Get a wristlet. And they do the wristlets for all of the different, all the Food and Wines have had a different one, all the Flower and Garden. So that is some people's thing, is they get the little gift cards.
Yeah, and you can put them in a scrapbook when you're done. You can also use them if you have money left over on it. It's basically just a Disney gift card. You can use it anywhere Disney gift cards are accepted, I believe.
Yes.
So, don't be afraid that you're going to have leftover money that's useless after November 13th. It'll be able to be used anywhere. Okay, that takes us to number 6, and we kind of touched on this when we were talking about the sampler. If you have the ability to go multiple days, if you're on vacation and you have a park hopper, if you're local, if you can plan a couple of vacations, I really think that's the best. Like we said, there are so many different options to try. You really need multiple days to do it, or you need like an expandable stomach or something, because
not to mention a much larger bank account.
Yes. So obviously we're, if you can't tell, we're fairly young. So it works really well for us to be able to go try a few things every day. And that way we can experience everything. If you're on vacation, obviously you have to eat meals, so if you can do maybe lunches at Epcot and then go to another park or something like that, that's a great way to do it too. Also, if you have friends who are willing to share food and you can get one dish and split it between two people, that works well too.
Another thing too, a lot of the items are available as snack credits if you are there for the Disney dining plan. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. Maybe you want to double up on your table services or your quick services one day and try to save your snacks so you guys can stockpile them and, spend a couple days and just use your snack credits on the food and wine stuff. I think it's probably one of the best values you can get for your snack credits.
Yes, yeah. Well, and depending on how much you're spending or how much, the item you're spending it on is. That brings us to the end of our tips. I have a number 7 listed here, but I had to say it right away with number 1 already, is pack your patience. You may run into lines. Certain items are popular every single year and people will automatically line up for them, but I think it's definitely worth it. Manage your expectations, just have fun. It's a wonderful event and I'm glad it comes back every year. This year is Epcot's 35th. Right? 35th
yes, 35th.
Anniversary. I questioned myself there. So they're doing some special things. They have 35 booths, and it's just always a really fun time. So that's all we have for
That's
tips.
all we have, and we are just about out of time anyways.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. I hope you make it to the Food and Wine Festival and that you have a wonderful time. Feel free to drop any tips that you have from your experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear them.
Bye, guys.